Now clap your hands and stamp your feet. This happens to be a treat wild treat.
Throughout time, music and entertainment has been regarded as one of the most lucrative and powerful industries in the world. The composition of music and melody is not as easy as it looks though, and being an entertainer is a process that isn't meant for everyone. Even the world's most favored artists, producers, and entertainers stand tall above their greatest challenges and sacrifices, and the lyrics to everyone's favorite songs took quality time to put together. Songwriting is far more than just putting pen to paper and writing something interesting. It's definitely a complete experience that involves expression in a creative fashion. It takes an indelible penman to compose a timeless record. This is little to say for many, including Mikie Bennett. For 30 years, Mikie Bennett has made an impact on Jamaica's music industry and has become a staple, or even a cornerstone, to the success of our music market both locally and internationally. I'm Nicholas Coley, and today we will be taking a closer look at a native songwriter and music producer that we know and love, Mikie Bennett. This is Timeless Lyrics, Mikie Bennett's songwriting genius. Mikie Bennett is an award-winning, critically acclaimed, and highly established veteran in the Jamaican music industry. Known for his songwriting and music production expertise, he conceived a completely star-studded music album titled The Heart of Jamaica for the well-renowned brand and company Appleton Estate.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Deep within the heart of Jamaica.
With Mikie's creative direction, he led the overall composition and production of each song up to the album's completion, spending months fine-tuning all details to develop its dynamic patriotism with fusions of sound from various genres. In November of 2018, this album was launched and met with positive reviews, with its purpose to cultivate modern musical elements and blend those with traditional music elements of our roots. The 13-track Heart of Jamaica album is set to be a classic. It serves as an artistic testament to celebrating Jamaica, expressing themes of resilience, pride, and enjoying life in the land of wood and water. His studio, located in Kingston, is where he and his protégés created this project. Grafton is Mikie's home away from home. I managed to meet with him there, as well as other composers involved in its creation, to talk about the conception of the album. Along with Mikie, I met with Craig Jackson, a multiple award-winning singer and member of the famous Jamaican music group Voicemail. I also met with reggae veteran singer and composer Dwayne Stevenson and Jamila Falak, the young sensational upcoming genre crossover singer.
Alright, so we have Mikie Bennett, the man who's not a myth, but is absolutely a legend.
Wow.
How was the Heart of Jamaica album for you? Like, you had done
It was
so
full
much
of work. We did 6 months work and 3 months. So after a while it got really tiring. So I was so happy that Dean came in and took off some of that kind of stress.
Dean Fraser.
Yeah, man. The writing was, that part was really fun because I was able to collaborate with a lot of students. And it just grew. And the thing about the album is like, I just know that from year to year one song and people just gonna discover the songs because it was a gift to Jamaica. It was nice to have a budget to work with, and the other thing about it is like how the company felt about it. I mean, before it started, everybody was, boy, we need this and we need that, we have to check off everything. And I came in and I heard the first presentation, when I came in the studio and I heard 3 songs, and the thing was, you sure you have enough money? When a client said that, you're alright. So it's good. I mean, we like even a better relationship with the company,
Appleton.
with trust. Yes.
The jazzy sensation, Jamila Falak. It's definitely a pleasure to speak with you.
Pleasure to be here.
So what were the processes as it relates to songwriting that you participated in or that you conducted yourself while putting the Heart of Jamaica album together?
I remember the day when Uncle Mikie messaged and he said, listen, we have a big project coming up and you we're gonna come over to the house and we're going to start the process. Right? When you come, we have a meeting about it. And that was to be co-writers. We understood the concept of the album and everybody got a song to write. We kind of got engulfed in the co-writing aspect of things now. No longer everybody just one song, but everybody now has to write each song together. So everybody get like a first verse, chorus, whatever.
So a collaborative effort?
Yeah.
Okay. I have the privilege of meeting with Dwayne Stevenson.
Listen, man.
Really appreciate it.
For me, it was just a song that was chosen. A song that he actually started out with. Natel was more the writer he was collaborating much with. But for that particular project, he puts the ideas together and then he brings in the talent that he wants to establish the ideas with. So Mikie put on a rough work, Natel had some stuff, and then he called me for me to be, a part of the process of writing my part because, I was thinking first write some words with some other man, but now I can't do that. You have to have some input and whatever, and immediately, you're a part of it. So I was brought in with, he said that, we really need to get, when the verse is done, we need to tell the story of how Jamaica was like, early 80s when the good time just started flowing from the perspective of a little man, just like a journey through the country right up to town. You know what I mean? Like a Sunday morning vibe, and that's what we try to do in one verse.
With every success though, there is a journey that made it happen. For Mikie, his journey began from when he was young. Mikie Bennett was born in year 1962 to a humble Christian family who believed in the power of church along with having God-given singing and writing talents. He developed an interest in music through actively participating in his church. Eventually, as a preteen, he began composing lyrics to songs on his own.
Well, for you, I guess music has been in your blood and possibly in your family as well. I had discovered that you've been writing from you were a kid. Mm-hmm. You started in the church, just like most people.
Well, I didn't start writing in the church, but I went to Adventist, grew up in Adventist, and everybody know that Adventist is a serious traditional music legacy. A lot of male groups, a lot of big choirs, but there was this thing to form music groups and singing groups and compete with each other. Mm-hmm. And it's an Adventist thing. So you go to an Adventist church and you hear 3-part harmony like a natural situation. So we grew up around harmonies and melodies and stuff. We were actually discouraged from going into professional music.
Wow, that never stopped you.
Yeah.
But you had the encouragement of your parents after a while, yeah?
It's more acceptance.
Acceptance.
Well, I have an aunt who, if there's any one individual who was is responsible for this thing, is to be her. She was there, she was like the matriarch of the family. So she insisted that I join the KC choir. She brought me my first instrument, a ukulele, which then led to guitar. And even while at choir practice used to be on a Friday evening, which is a serious evening for Adventists, and she put on her foot that I needed to go to choir practice. So that was kind of cool. But she's always been there, and she took me the first time I went to a concert, it was KC choir. And I was so impressed, and she's almost like, said, listen, you have to be part of that. She also reminded me and the rest of the family that we had an uncle who used to write music. Her grandfather was a choir leader. He worked with the Maroons in a compound and had that tradition, was famous for just music. So it is somewhere in the whole DNA package. What was encouraged in my household was reading. That same aunt was the chief librarian, Tom Redcan. So reading was not even an option to us. It was we were growing up. Had to read. Every weekend she brought 3 books and we had to read. And I don't only read it, but give her a little synopsis of what I read, and we discuss it. I found reading and started with the Hardy Boys and all them kind of books, and then moved on to like the novels of Zane Grey and stuff. I mean, there was a point in my life that I figured, yes, I'd love to write a Western novel. I hadn't yet been to America, but I really was into storytelling, into words, and it was a part of, like I said, the whole Adventist circle was kind of a cool place to be, because there was always a lot of discussions and reading and reasoning and things. Albeit probably, as far as I'm concerned, limited to a theology that said more don'ts than do's. But within that whole framework, there was a lot of opportunities to express oneself. The words were so important. When you have a thing like a worship, most people grow up with even worship, devotion. And it was one of them things because there were people of all ages there. So whatever was discussed had to be broken down. But we also were encouraged to go and find. You ask a word and it said, go find it out. But my teenage years was really, really exciting. I went to Kingston College, which was very pivotal to music. A lot of people don't know. I was there with Tigerman Downey, which one I turned to one of the great keyboard players. I used to play with Bob. Mallory Williams was a classmate of mine. He used to play with Ziggy them at one time.
With the melody makers.
Yeah. Some of the members of Fab Five, which was becoming very popular. But I grew up in Vineyard Town, so there was a lot of music that was not being. We used to have to depend on radio for stuff. So a lot of times they were privy to songs that that were probably on jukebox and things. So we had all of these musical conversations, and it was a very exciting time in Jamaican music. This was like the 70s, 80s, when you didn't have nowhere near the amount of songs, but the songs were so big in our life, in other words. So when you went to a party and it was like one turntable, and they would have like about 10 or 12 hit songs. So every 2 or 3 hours they would play them, and all of them had dances to them. So as young people, you practice all week the dances and things.
It wasn't until the 1980s that he became involved with the music industry, professionally and commercially. His memorable records being the 1980 Christmas ballad, Make Christmas Catch You in a Good Mood.
Make Christmas catch you in a good mood. Make Christmas catch you feeling fine.
His creativity had set him up for much more accomplishments ahead.
Fast forwarding now to you probably just coming out of high school. Your first commercially released song was a song, Too Much Hands in the Fire.
Irons.
Too much irons in the fire.
It should be too many, but too many didn't sing right. So Too Much Irons in the Fire was I'd been corrected about that on several occasions, but it sang better with Too Much Irons in the Fire.
Okay. So how was that experience for you, writing that song and being able to hear it?
Yeah, writing it was just one of them things, because I was writing. That wasn't the first song I'd written. I'd written quite a few songs before that. Yeah, hearing it on the radio now, it was one of them kind of things. You listen to the song that from the record night, which was new to us, new to me. The playing back and the going through. But hearing it move from an idea to a rhythm being made and voice and harmonies, and I said, it's like I knew then and there that this is what I wanted to do. This was gonna be my life. But nothing prepared me for the first time I heard it on the radio. I was listening to this thing like it's the first time I'd heard it, and I was listening to it so intently, almost expecting that something might change. And of course you hear the whole thing over and over. And the only thing that was better than that first time was the second time you heard it, and the third time you heard it. And every time you heard it, you listen all the way through, and you're taking in every word that the announcer is saying, So I understand when young people hear the song for the first time or a couple of times, they kind of excite me. So I'm able to, I know exactly what I went through, and I kind of miss that. Them things happen to you again and again. So I kind of really miss that. I hear songs for me, on the station, and change the station. I know that. and change the station. Something I would have never done. In the early days, you hear a song from the radio and change it to hear what happened. But then you understand that you never listen to music the same way.
With all these amazing works that you've done, what would you consider is like the most successful project or single? Because I mean, you work with so many big names, from the Shabarangs, the Barry Salmon, the Maxi Priest, the Dennis Brown. So what do you consider is the most commercially successful one?
Well, that would definitely be Mr. Loverman. There are songs like Can You with Brian Tonigo, which I'm probably more proud of though. Because of what it was saying and how things happen. I mean, Can You, I don't know if you know Can You with Brian Tonigo about South Africa. Yeah. And it was just a song whose time had come. And I mean, up to last year, I mean, the song been released for a while. Last year, got a call from Lacadco saying that, I can't believe you write this song, and we've done a dance to it. So these things now, the Max Priest and Shabba, or the House Call and our Sullivan did really well. But because it never resonated in Jamaica as much, it was more pop. Yes, it's international. So when you go abroad and it mentioned, everybody look around. But when you live here and you want that vibe, and in Jamaica, probably the most popular song I've done is Make the Christmas Sketch in a Good Mood.
1980, right?
Just good about
that.
Yeah.
You were in your teens at the time. Yeah, but you don't want to talk about that.
Well, Make the Christmas Sketch in a Good Mood is one of them songs. And I was telling somebody just 2 days ago, is the things that kind of motivate you. These were the days when records was being sold whole. And I was downtown with the distributor and the record producer. And we're upstairs and they were downstairs selling the records. So every minute you hear the record start, and like I said, up to this point you're still fascinated by hearing your own song being played. And every minute them start, them to stop it. Start as soon as. So I'm thinking. So I said to Errol, why don't you play the song? And he said, yeah, hear that, boss? Every time you hear that play and stop, somebody just bought solo or solo box. I said, what? So go and go look. And I went downstairs, where the guy playing the record, and somebody called and asked for a song and put it on and play it, and them say yes, and then put it in the box. Yeah. Or in these cases, downtown now, these are the wholesalers, so a lot of the people buying would be like a record shop people from all over Jamaica. Mm-hmm. So people are coming up and thing and them say $2. And I stood up there for about an hour, I couldn't move. Seeing them sell my song. It was then it all came together. I was making a product that I expected somebody to buy. So usually I ask my students when I write something, can you picture somebody actually going up to a person and say, sell me that song? And if you can't picture that, we have a problem. At the heights of my career, I was in a taxi from JFK to Manhattan. And this taxi driver, when he heard I was Jamaican, he said, oh, there's a Jamaican station. And we were listening to the station. And between there, I heard at least 10 songs that had something to do with it, either as a writer or as a producer. And it was like, whoa. And he was asking me, you know this? And I said, yeah, I know that. I never make him no wise. And I said, yeah, I know that. You know this? Yeah, I know that. You know who's singing? Yeah, I know who's singing. And I kind of felt like a disingenuous after a while. I said, maybe you don't want to know that I was involved. Yeah. I just felt like, I don't know if I really want that. I've been out with family members in America, and the same thing happened. And of course, them not making it past that is me do it. I was at an American football game in New Orleans, and they were playing, the band was playing Mr. Loverman. And my sister-in-law got up and said, that's my brother-in-law song! And before I knew it, was like about 6 beers reached me. And I'm saying, wow. But I think about my brother was saying to me, you see, in Jamaica, everybody know you and thing, and you used to it. In America, the average person don't know nobody who playing on the radio. So even to be sitting in this crowd here with somebody who produced that or wrote that is a big thing.
With Mikie's deep involvement in music industry over the years, from being part of a music group to writing lyrics for songs from our favorite artists, to producing timeless hit records. His musical lifestyle has even played a major role in the creative development of his son, Mikie B. Nicholas Bennett, also known as Mikie B, grew up to also be involved in songwriting and production, becoming a musical prodigy with a singing talent beyond average. I met with him in Kingston, where he and I spoke in his garden about his past, his present, and about being an artist.
Welcome, brother.
So, Mikie Bennett's son, honestly, I have some serious questions I need to ask you.
Yeah?
Yeah, you were basically born into a music family. What was it like growing up with Mikie Bennett as pops?
We were in the studio night by night with Brian and Tony Gold and Chevelle Franklin and, you know, writers like Rick Rock and, you know, just a team of just musical talent that was around him at the time, and, you know, Roberta Flack. And it's like when you grow up now, especially growing up in music, and you sit back and you look and you say, my childhood was pretty dope, but then, you know, at the time you never really know what was going on either, so it was just like you were just living. But it's one of the most awesome things to look back and know as somebody that's in the music myself and be like, yo, like my childhood was legendary based off of just the amount of talent that dad surround himself with on a daily basis. And just, you know, listening back to, like, we'll still just out of the blue start singing lines from songs that we used to hear on cassettes, and dad'd be like, yo, you remember that? And it was just like, yo, you sing the lines of the song and you're just like, yo, them lines I did bad though, like, you know. So you get to appreciate it a little bit more now. But what I could remember was that we were always happy, because as great of a musician as him is a greater father. You know what I mean? So it was like we just grew up with just so much love. It was unreal. You know, and love for each other as family, and, you know, that's why we're still very close, all of us, to this day, you know, because we don't know no different.
Did he ever contribute to, like, your songwriting craft or give you any kind of words of wisdom?
Oh yeah, as in he was the first person that used to tell me that I need to be more vulnerable, and we still say it up to this day. So I don't do no song and don't send it to that for my opinion, and sometimes I'm just like, yo, this bad, I wouldn't touch nothing. And then sometimes I maybe give opinions, and sometimes I'll agree, and sometimes I'll be like, I don't feel it. You know what I mean? But definitely to the way I approach music and songwriting, I've learned a lot from him. And it, you know, one of the main things he's always said, like, yo, don't be afraid to be vulnerable. You know, don't be afraid to not always get the girl. You know what I mean? Or don't always make the conversation with the girl be, yo, I want to take you back to my place. But more, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, not every girl I want to try your love, right?
Yeah, exactly. so I definitely say, yeah, him definitely influenced my songwriting. You know, just ability and just training. You know what I mean?
Alright, well, you've been doing music for years, you know, from a child up to now.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, what inspires you greatly nowadays to continue?
The birds that are in the background that's chirping, bro. Like, listen to that, how beautiful it sounds, my dude. As in, that and everything else, like, yo.
So just the little things.
As in, and the big things as well, as in great moments and the disappointments. How I feel when I'm hurt would inspire me to write something that people can be like, yo, I can hear the pain in his voice. Or this song just sound like the writer was just in a very dark place. So, at the end of the day, I think you have to just make everything inspire you, whether it's the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it's just about what you can inspire you to write. You know what I mean? Use whatever you can to fuel your fire. You understand?
The creative process for writing music varies for most people, considering the fact that everyone has their own style. However, to be able to compose content that resonates with the masses is a skill that takes dedication to the art. Each song has their respective structure, from the choruses and hooks to the verses and melodies. The chorus and the hook are meant to have a grappling effect on the listener, in order to remember the song, of course, while the verses tell a story or paint a picture of a vision of what matters most to the artist. From time to time, however, a writer may have troubles with composing a song, but even the most stubborn cases of writer's block can be resolved with pure inspiration.
One of the most important things about my life is that I took a chance, living a life of corporate life of, you know, relative security and certain kind of lifestyle. Never really planned to go back on the bus, but because of certain situations.
Made sacrifices.
But what helped that process was the fact that on the bus was the laboratory, was my research going.
Inspiration,
but it was just instant feedback. So you listen to the radio. I mean, the buses used to, at this point, everybody was kind of priding themselves with what the cassettes that them could play on the buses. And as young people, you have an idea of the buses that kind of that. So you wait on those buses. And I mean, Pinchers are like 4, 5, 6, 7 songs and they hit on the top 10. So whether they were playing radio or they were playing on cassette, it was a lot. And I just saw people reacting to it, and I was wondering, why them love this song? I had several conversations with Pinchers about them thing, and I must tell him. He must say, listen, this is how I hear people talking about certain things. So I'm just using back this language of the street, right?
Right,
connect it, yeah. And then put in his little genius tonight now. I'm on this genius of trying to, find ways to set things, which was really, really cool. I had to just realize that, listen, if I really want to connect with this set of people, which is the people that make things happen, first I want to start listening to how them talking and find out what is that you're trying to say. You say somebody writes something and your little intellectual brain clicking and say, no man, you should say it this way. I remember one day I wrote this song and it was for Diamonds, and him said, well, I like what song, but what it really mean? And when I told him, he said, yeah, but I wouldn't say it like that. And that was very humbling to me, but it was also very revealing. It was like something go off my head, Because if you want him to sing it to the kind of passion and the conviction, it have to be something that he would say and would understand and think.
How is your creative process for writing like right now compared to back in the day? Like, just for one word, how would you describe it?
Collaborative.
So you're more into the melting pot kind of idea, allowing different ideas to blend instead of just...
not the ideas, people. Yeah, man, love collaborations.
Okay.
You see, when you write as much song as me, it's hard to come up with a melody that you haven't used before. And you might just mention to a co-writer and them love it and add a next thing that you wouldn't add. So it takes a lot of the stress of coming up with a new idea, with a new melody. So I find I function best right now as a collaborator.
Okay. Well, Craig,
Zaga,
you had mentioned to me prior to now that this is basically where your career started.
Yep.
So what about the songwriting aspect?
Alright, Mikie Bennett now is very meticulous when it comes on to his writing,
Certain principles and ethics.
Most definitely, what I mean, and that's very good. It helps you as a songwriter. And you learn. I learned so much from Mikie Bennett. Most of us who got introduced to music from the musical aspect, like when you do a song, you want him to hear it. You want to hear what him feel. We could have do better. The energy and the family connection with his music and his peer, even if it's just work for a lot of people, it's more than just work for him. So
I think ethics wise, I've picked up some things from him, because usually, writing, the most natural thing is for it to be like a tense process, like really try to get this done, whatever. So that's how I used to approach it. It was more business oriented and trying to get this done and it must go in this line and whatever. But then, as serious and as huge as the project may seem, Mikie comes in and he has a guitar that he hardly plays, and we will have reasoning, and we spend most of the time in here talking about everything but the song. And at the end of the process, we have a song. Wow. You know what I mean? He tries to keep it as comfortable as possible. Just make it be a part of the flow.
Let it flow.
Yeah, man. You find that it comes more natural that way. It's not something that you have to force or trying to, search for the words or stuff like that. So it automatically makes it much easier.
Mikie has had the privilege of working with popular acts, both locally and internationally, such as Shabba Ranks, Maxi Priest, Beres Hammond, the reggae prince himself, Dennis Brown, and even a young LL Cool J. Of the many accomplishments Mikie Bennett has made throughout his career, one of his most noble and impressive accomplishments come from his willingness to partake in mentorship. His willingness and dedication to impart knowledge and wisdom onto fellow musicians and artists show absolute promise especially since so many have grown from his teachings. He has successfully coached several artists in songwriting from a USAID-sponsored program known as the MIR, Masters in Residence Cohort Program, where aspiring artists could learn more about the music and entertainment industry and be trained to sharpen their music artist crafts. He even won a mentorship award in 2017 from the Jamaica Reggae Industry Association for his mentoring expertise. There are many musical artists that are making strides from his coaching, both upcoming and established. One particular prodigy of his that has quickly grown from the MIR program and has been seeing success is the jazz-inclined singer Jamila Falak.
I'm a lady, so life better treat me accordingly. Just like a queen wearing my crown, I deserve it.
Do you have any great experiences that you can recall, seeing how he works or with working with him?
I mean, I have so many, but one that readily came to mind when you asked that was the Heart of Jamaica album. That has been my biggest project thus far. I feel like it's not only his baby or one of his babies, but it's one of mine because through that process I got to embody some of his skills. So for example, I took on the role of production as well and songwriting, being administrative, all of that. So I kind of became him in a sense, and to be honest, he's somebody that I want to be like when I get older.
Okay, MIR, the Masters in Residence program. Could you tell us about your experiences in that program with him as your coach?
It's nothing short of amazing. You know, he's been a guide, almost like a spirit guide in a sense, because I never expected to be as close to him upon being a part of the program, you know. But if you know Uncle Mike, you know that if you really know him, you know that he's somebody to bring persons together. This project, this whole program that he created, Masters in Residence, was one of those things, you know. Nothing is a coincidence, everything is supposed to be how it's supposed to be, and he definitely connects persons who are supposed to be connected.
You are the songwriting coach. What was it like tutoring and coaching aspiring writers and recording artists through the program?
This is probably one of the most fulfilling things I've ever done. I've been doing songwriting coaching for about 10 years. I mean,
and congratulations
like
on the award that you won for that, by the way.
To have these students now over a period for like a couple months, serious situation. Over the years I've developed a template to help to teach, and I keep improving on it, but the template kind of solid, and each time I do it I'm more convinced that yes, I know I hope to get people to move from here to there.
He went more in depth in his craft as songwriting. So, you know, having us do the skills are like, okay, write 4 lines, you do this and do that. I don't think I've ever done anything like that practically. Coming outside and doing that, you know, it was kind of like a very nice process because I'm a practical person and he got me to be practical about that. It makes me look at things a different way, you know, when it comes down to songwriting. It's a very refreshing experience. Uncle Mikey is, as you can hear, Uncle Mikey. It's family, first and foremost.
And it's one thing to sit in a classroom and write things, and it's another thing to write that and come into a studio, being able to sing something. It add, like I said, that context to the whole thing. So, here's a product, and to hear that on the radio, I'm sure people have different feelings. Wow, I hear myself on the radio, and that is the full circle thing that is so important because it's context, you know. Life needs context, and I look forward to that whole co-writing situation. A lot of my students have become my collaborators and a number of things. It's a joy when you can pick up the call on your students and say, listen, I have this project, come here, could do something. And actually at the end of the day, say, listen to that now. Again, forever that will be associated with, your name will be associated with this thing. These are the things that I think make a difference to life, you know.
You can literally go into, you know what I mean, a class of it and come out really changed, you know, after the course.
Yeah, I mean, that's not something easy to do, you know, and I think one of the main reasons why is him doing it is because I think Jamaica realized that
not a lot of people can do it either, and it's him.
We've gone as far as to award him for it.
And which he
is well deserved.
Yeah, him have enough for half of the country.
and he has been. And sometimes when you look on the mere fact that him doing it, not necessarily caring about, you know, the food, which is what enough man care about, but just love to be Uncle Mikey. You know what I mean? That make it even 10 times even more special, and I think that's why I'm connected to the kids as well as he does, because it don't feel like class, it feel like family.
Well, when I work with Mike is almost as if it's a session at school. There's always something that you can learn from just being around him. And because his wisdom and success has been so huge and so long lasting, so it is very easy. It's very easy. There's always, as I say, great wisdom, lot to learn. He makes it easy for you.
It's no secret that Mikie Bennett has a legacy worth celebrating. And the greatest parts of his legacy involve how he has helped others to grow into the artist that they want to be. He started out as a young, fresh face on the scene and green to the music world, just like anyone else, and he worked hard for the success he sees today. Many young Jamaican artists may be given a hard time breaking through that thick door that is the music industry. Every artist has their own way of going about making a breakthrough, but for the struggles they experience, there is resolution to be found, particularly by learning from others who have made it through to see the bright lights, the front pages, the riches and the troubles that come with making it to the other side of that door.
Any advice for young songwriters?
It's a job. I'm joking. Yo, I think the most advice I can give young anything that have to do with the music business, whether as songwriter, as producer, as artist, is understanding that this process, you can wake up tomorrow and you write one song that changed your life forever, and your process never take more than 2 months, or you can be there for 15 years. You understand? Like, patience, and it's hard to hear, It's hard when you're hungry, or it's hard whether you're hungry, physically hungry, or you're just hungry for the success. For a man to be like, yo, you just have to be patient, bro. You know what I mean? You don't want to hear that. But really and truly, that is what you need. You need X amount of patience, and I would definitely say find yourself, a good support system of people, and not necessarily people that have to be in music as well, but those people will support you as an individual and help you, because this business will try every last part of you, and if you're not strong, you can cave, or you will cave, so I think that, you have to just be realistic, set long-term goals, set short-term goals. If you can't afford for music, your dream to make you be able to eat, then you have to find a little 9 to 5. I would say something that's going to give you free at night times. You understand what I say? So you find something, and then say you have to burn the candle at both ends. Where say, yo, every night after work, I dedicate 3 hours to my music career, 4 hours before I get to go to bed. Yeah, I get tired when I wake up, but it's just, you know what I mean? It's the dedication towards the dream, So, and just research, yo. Back in the day in 2002, 2003 when I came out, we never had YouTube, bro. We never had the luxury of going on YouTube. I can be in my yard right now and my closet drop down and I trying to figure out how to put it up back and go on YouTube and figure it out. So there's a level of information that's offered to us now that we definitely should, use to our advantage.
I think Mikey has done such a great job documenting the musical journey of the past. And obviously, time changes, the names have changed in terms of the artists. And now we need people to pick up the baton and move on into the next generation. I think Mikey can really provide a roadmap for the younger writers to do so. You understand? So we need for him to pass on the knowledge and at least the fundamentals of how a no artist or writer will capture the essence of their own story. He simply, gives you a little bit of direction here and there. But never a man very willing to come in and just take over the project or to get the work done himself. Because he said that, he has done his thing, zero time to do yours.
I can name from Sheffield to Ryan Cole to Voicemail to his own blood, from Mikie B to Tijan, and just look into that culture. Massacrefics and Franix and Dwayne Steels. I can name names from now to the next level. Mikie Bennett is that infectious type of being.
And you have so many brilliant songwriters like yourself and Jamila. Yeah, and the list goes on and on. we have fun with this, you know. And we don't do nothing what we're heart not into. I think that is probably the most common thing, like, no matter how much money attached to it or no more, like, no, I take that from him. I not do nothing if my heart not in it. Like, because it come attached with a check, like, that no work for me.
I wanted to be Steve Wonder, I wanted to be Paul Simon, because they were, to me, were my songwriting heroes. It wasn't until much later on that I realized that the Ernest Smiths of this world were, equally great writers. The Bob Andy's great writers. Having been exposed to the Steve Wonders of the world and the subtlety of that, you feel like you're educated and feel like you can set things wrong. That was my first challenge. These were the songs that you want to write, the standard or the quality. No matter how out there it was, in other words, how it didn't just fit into your life. So this was my escape from this reality that I was in Jamaica.
It was out of context of it.
Yeah, it wasn't my reality, and I wasn't looking back now and realizing what you're trying to do, as opposed to just expressing yourself as a youngster growing up in Jamaica with all of these colorful situations around you. I mean, the women in Jamaica, how they talk, I mean, the rhythm of the country is something that needed to be put in poetry, put in songs in a way that was a little different from this long time girl me never see you, right? Because this long time girl me never see you, although it's our thing, but it represented another era, a more folky thing. We were town people, we were street people, we wanted the swag, we wanted this, the coolness. And there was also a feeling that things expressed in patois was like second grade, So we wanted to express it in English, like what you heard on foreign. So I write a song for you, I know you want to stretch your audience, you want to do your thing, but at the same time, you still want to be authentic to the core. You want to sound like, yes, me's a youth from the streets, or me's a youth from Mobile, or me's a youth from up in the hills, but I want to reach a wider market. I want to be able to express myself. So apart from just helping like the various general, making sure that what the chorus said, the first kind of, exposed a little bit more, keeping that kind of context throughout the song and structure it in a way. For the most part, I really wanted to help people to say what coming out of your heart, say it in a better way.
So any advice for young songwriters and musical artists trying to make a hit or trying to get a buzz?
Advice is, first of all, you have to do an audit of your talent. You have to do an honest audit. And find the person that you feel can give an honest audit of your talent. And once you find a way to move your talent from being average to excellent, and find the most important or unique thing about you that you can really bring to this entertainment. It's not just music, it's entertainment. So you might not be the greatest vocalist, but you are the greater entertainer. Because you can get people to dance and to move. You have to learn, you have to do the research, listen a lot without, necessarily being either overcritical or trying to imitate. But listen, learn to listen. Listen is probably one of the most crucial things to music. Learn to listen. The music business have just a lot of side shows, a lot of side things. Too many young artists nowadays have to become their own PR manager before they maybe sing one song. And I'm sorry for them, because you see them spend so much time just on social media trying to get things done instead of trying to write that song that makes a difference. And not every song can be promoted to be a hit. I mean, like I said, all these people that involved in getting your song to the public have to be convinced that this song again work. Yeah, man.
Right.
I mean, and success come at different levels for different people at different times. Mine was not a fast track, I've been lucky to be awarded and acknowledged openly because of the songwriting, because of the production, and because of just some of the things. But music is its own reward, and if you're not rewarded by just being a part of it, then everything else is gravy, Like Bobby said, I never do this to make money, but if money make, I want my share.
Cool. That's just right.
Mikie Bennett is one of the greatest songwriters in the country, with a catalogue that proves critical acclaim. It is clear to see why the Jamaican music industry is made better with his contributions. He is most likely one of your favorite artists' favorite people in the world, whether the genre is reggae or dancehall. With that being said, Uncle Mikie Bennett is certainly a man with as much heart to match his many skills. and he can be seen as a legend in the music world for now and the generations to follow. Thank you for tuning in. Special thanks to all who have made this program possible. This has been Timeless Lyrics, Mikie Bennett's songwriting genius. I'm Nicholas Coley. Have a wonderful day.